You can run, but you can't hide.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. What's up, y'all? It's me, Jaquilla, again. Welcome to the Healing Exchange podcast. You made it for episode. I don't know what episode we on now, but you made it for another episode. And I'm so grateful, so thankful for you coming back to hear me speak, to have a conversation, to talk with your girl, to listen to my thoughts, my vulnerabilities, my confessions. So thank you so much for joining. Welcome back. If you're watching me on YouTube, you already know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Healing Exchange. It should be under the video. Just click subscribe. Also, you can add me on Facebook, Jaquilla McFarley. I'll have my name on the video so you can have the correct spelling, because I know my name is a little complicated. But yes, add me on Facebook. Also, add me or follow me. Also, follow me on Instagram. I will put my @ name on the screen. It is Jaquilla_MCF. And lastly, follow me on TikTok, @ Jaquilla MC. Thank you so much again for joining in. I so appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, y'all, as I say almost every show, you'll see me with my phone. I am looking at you, but I got my notes on my phone just to make sure I don't miss nothing, y'all, because my memory and my thoughts be everywhere. So I always have my phone with me to look at my notes as an outline, because y'all, now this episode may be a tough one. This will probably be a tough conversation. So if you're watching me on YouTube, brace yourself. If you're listening and hearing me, make sure you really tune in and listen to me carefully as we talk through this together. Because y'all, God inspired me to talk about love. Love, true love at that. The topic of conversation is true love. And are you really ready to accept or give true love? What is true love? You know, we're going to get into all of that. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be some hard things. It's going to be some challenging things. We're going to get into the matters of our hearts. And we're going to talk about it. So y'all, let's get into it. So what is love? Let's just start there. What is love? Now, the worldly definition, because really I don't think anyone could ever give a wordy definition of what love is, because it's such a feeling. Everybody has their own definition of love based on how love made them feel. You know, we equate love with hearts and butterflies and romance or caring or doing this and that as a positive thing. But the best way I would describe it, you know, love is just, it's an emotion, it's caring, it's a state of being. It's love. You know? Now let me put this preface out there. I probably said it before, but y'all, I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I read and believe in the Holy Bible. I believe in the Holy Trinity. So most of the things that I talk about, I might reference scripture. Now, I am no theologian by any part, but I do read and I do try to follow and base my life off the living word, which is the Holy Bible. So biblically, the way the Bible defines love is God. God is love. This is not something he does. This is not something he just not this is not something he just does, because he does do it. This is not something he just shows. He is love. I am a female. I am African American. You get what I'm saying? He is. He's not something. It's not something that God does. God biblically is the definition of love. When you see love, next to it biblically is God. That's where it starts. So God is love, and I gave y'all the humanistic definition, just emotional, the state of being, caring, all of that type of stuff. So let's get into it. Now, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, love was such a huge obstacle in my life. But it was because of trauma. All of those people from birth, my biological parents were supposed to, that's your biological parents, whoever brought you into this world. They are the first to show you love. When you come out of the womb, your parents are supposed to be the first examples, or the first to show you what love is. Now, as to my story, I didn't have my biological parents. So out of the womb, I had them, but they weren't there as they were supposed to be there. So coming out of the womb, there was a warped and perverted seed planted when I had first been born of love. So let's get into it. To be honest with y'all, I'm just now finding out what true love is. Just now, almost 30. Just now finding out what the essence and true love is when it comes to, and I'm not talking about just romance. I'm not talking about just romance, that's included, but romance, friendship, family, platonic, just love in general. True love in general, and how we should love. So now at my age, now that I'm getting to know love, it's complicated, y'all. Love is it's so complicated. It's so complicated because you cannot have love without having some sort of pain. And love and pain is such an oxymoron, because they're just so not like each other, but you can't have one without the other. And that's what I'm learning. I thought love was, I thought love was just butterflies and clouds and all this type of stuff, but it's not. It's so much more to love than just the feeling. Love is also an action. There's hard love. There's love that's tested through struggle. So we're going to get into it, y'all. We don't get into it. So first thing I want to talk about within the topic of true love, you will not find, and by finding, again, I'm not talking about just romance. I'm talking about in friendships and your family, within yourself. You will not find true love unless you accept that love is without taking a risk. Love is a risk, y'all. Love is a risk. In order to receive love or get yourself in the position to give and receive love, you must know that it is a risk. You're risking your feelings, you're risking your heart, you're taking a risk to be hurt. Like, love is a risk. I wouldn't use the word gamble, because when you love is intentional. I think gambling is not so much I think gambling is so much like careless, a careless sense, but risk is different. So it is a risk. You're putting yourself out there at the risk of, it may go good, They may love me back or they may hurt me. So love is a risk. It's funny, like our generation is so, my generation and the generations after, it's not just me because I'm a millennial. The generations, the Gen Zs and the Gen Xs, it's so funny when you look at dating and even friendships. You see, it's like we want love, we need love, but we run away from love. We play with it. We play these little games and toss it around and play with people's emotions, but not at the cost of the other person get into our heart, truly get into our heart, because we have this wall up. And it's because of hurt and because of trauma and because of pain. I'm not excluding that or dimmying that down, because that's a valid reason. It's a valid reason. But what I'm saying is, because of the trauma and the pain, we have this wall up over our heart. And walls and when you have a block or a barricade or a wall, it don't discriminate. It blocks out everything. So not only are you blocking yourself, because the wall is to keep you from being hurt again. You put up a wall. All right, I'm not going to be hurt again. I done been down this road before and I got hurt. So this is my wall. I don't want to feel, if this is love, I don't want to feel it. But you don't, here's the thing though. You put up that wall to protect yourself from being hurt again. You also putting up that wall, and it blocks out love. It blocks out the joys of love, the positive feelings. You can't, there's no way you have a wall. Walls don't discriminate. If you have a wall up, it's going to block out everything, the good and the bad. So not only are you blocking out what you see as good, you also blocking out from the potential of you feeling the joys of love or you receiving true love. So it's like we want love, we need love, but we're running from it. And I was one. That's my confession for this episode. I ran, y'all, I was a runner. And I still am, kind of. I will run when it comes to new people coming into my life. My first instinct is to run. Like, oh no, this person's trying to make me soft, or this person's trying to get into my heart. Let me run that way. Like, it's like it's my default setting. And I'm working on it, y'all. That's my confession. Remember, we exchanging healing here. So it's my default setting. And I have to change my default setting to not having this wall up over my heart, and changing my default setting to being vulnerable and to accepting and teaching myself how to guard my heart, guard it, and have discernment to see and test the spirits, or test people in a healthy way, and observe, because you have the right to allow and bring people into your heart, or you have the will or the wherewithal or the power to love them from a distance, because everybody ain't got to be, everybody that you love ain't got to be close to you. I have a core group of people that knows my heart, that knows me, that I let inside of my bubble, inside of my intimate space. And there are people that has never been in my intimate space, but I still know how to love them from a distance, or love them for who they are in my life. So love has so many facets, y'all. Love has so many facets. So you have to know that it's going to be a risk. You might get hurt again, or this person might love you. Love is a risk. There's no way of getting around that. Second thing, love is sacrificial. And I'm just telling y'all what I'm learning so far. Love is sacrificial. It is sacrificial. You have to sacrifice yourself. You have to be selfless. You have to compromise. You have to sacrifice your time. You can't And first, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13. There's a whole chapter on love and how we should love and what love is. And I'll probably read that later, but it's sacrificial. It is sacrificial. We can't expect to receive from somewhere that we have not given to. So, y'all, we talk about karma. What goes around comes back around. You reap what you sow. That's just that's the basic life law. The laws of life. You reap what you sow. The Bible says that you reap what you sow. But we go around, and this is me included, that's why I said we, expecting, because we've been hurt, we go around expecting love to be given to us when we haven't first given it. It's like a gardener or a farmer goes outside and they expect a harvest from something and they haven't even sown no seeds. Like, how you gonna go outside? Oh, it's time for my harvest. I should see a harvest. And you never sowed any seeds. You can't reap from nothing. You have to reap from what you've given. First, give, sacrifice to receive. And it may not be from the same place you gave it to. You might give love to this person and reap it back from somewhere or someone else. So when you give, don't expect it to come back from that person. You may receive it in other ways. And this is for anything, y'all, not just love. To get friends, you must show yourself friendly. The Bible says that as well. You can't expect to receive something where you have not gave. So it's sacrificial. We love because God first loved us. He first loved us. He ain't asked, he knew that some of the world wouldn't accept him or accept his son, Jesus Christ, and he still gave. He didn't let that predicate on him giving or not. He just gave. He first loved us so that we can give him that love back. And not everybody gives him the love back. You get what I'm saying? So love is sacrificial. It is definitely sacrificial. And it is tested. Now, you know it's true love when it's tested in the sacrificial season. And not just that. And this goes over to the next thing. Love. I don't know why people say love is not supposed to hurt. That is such a lie. Love can hurt. You can have a great deal of suffering within love. You can have pain within love. That's how, what I was saying before, that's how the love is truly tested, through the pain and the suffering. It's tested through those seasons to see if it can come out of the other side. Now, I'm not talking about the pain of somebody dogging you out or somebody that just don't love you and they're using you and they have these evil motives. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that truly do love you, but you guys are going through a rough patch. There's some pain with love, and that's the pain is how the love is tested. If you all come out on the other side, or if the love comes out on the other side. And when it comes out on the other side, it is so much greater. It's a bruised love because you're going to have the pain, the scarring from the scars and the marks from the pain that you went through with love or with the person that you're experiencing love with. But the love becomes greater because it went through the testing of suffering and pain and went through that season. So yes, love does hurt, man. It can. I don't want to use does. I want to say it can hurt. You can't. So I'm going to use myself again. I used to, now that I'm looking back, I told y'all before how I used to I sucked at relationships. I just couldn't get it right. I could not get it right. I was hurt by my mother. I was hurt by my father. I was abused by the people that said they loved me. And I just numbed myself to love because it's like, what am I feeling it for? Why do I want to feel this? But here's the thing. And I want to talk about something when it comes to love being painful and love hurting. There's this story in the Bible about a man named Mephibosheth. They have some crazy names in the Bible, y'all. So don't crucify me because I can't I can't say it. But there's a story in the Bible about Mephibosheth. He was King Saul's grandson, or Saul's son, Jonathan's son. And Mephibosheth, I always say, children are not asked they don't choose to be in this world. They didn't ask to be here. So Mephibosheth, he's being cared for by a nurse. Now this is in 2 Samuel, I believe chapter 4 and chapter 9. They had heard some terrible news about his dad and granddaddy, and the nurse that was caring for Mephibosheth fled. She fled from where they were. She fled that area. She fled that city. And as she was running in a panic, she dropped Mephibosheth. She dropped him. He was 5 years old, a 5-year-old. She was running with him, holding him, and in a panic, as she was running, she dropped him. He's dropped, and now he is lame in both of his legs. Lame meaning he's unable to walk, or it's very complicated for him to walk. So basically, in this time, we would say he was handicapped, but he was lame in both legs. He could not walk, unable to walk, or it was very difficult for him to walk. Now, is it fair or unfair to say that the nurse that was caring for him didn't love him because she dropped him? Or did she did love him, but in the panic of her own trauma and getting caught up in her and running and fleeing from whatever she was running from, in a panic, she dropped him due to her own war from her running from something? Does that mean she didn't love him, or does that mean she made a mistake and just dropped him because she had her own thing going on? That's related to me. My mother and father, and I keep talking about them, but just using my story as an example, biologically, my mother and father was not there as they should have been there. They dropped me. But did that mean that they didn't love me? I'm pausing there so you can think about the people that hurt you, or the people that you were close with, that they truly did love you, but they had a bad moment, or they got so caught up in the pain of their own life and their own trauma that they just dropped you. Maybe that dropping was neglection. Maybe that drop was abandonment. Maybe that drop was them speaking to you in the wrong way. Maybe that drop was a mistake that they made that affected you, because people can't give you what they don't have. Maybe they dropped you because they reached their capacity. But can we truly say that they didn't love you? No. This is the painful part about love. And such is God, how God is with us. I can't tell you how many times I was drunk, out of my mind, high, disobedient, mistreating people, going to church, leaving church, fornicating, not talking to God, robbing him by not giving my tithes and offering. But he still loved me. God has feelings, y'all. God feels, but he still loved me. So I think the healing in that is to say the people, those that dropped you, it did not mean that they didn't love you. They mishandled you. So it wasn't love that hurt you. It wasn't the love that they had. It was them. It was their bad moment. Now, continuing with the story of Mephibosheth. Now, time went on with Mephibosheth. He's lame. This is his life. He's lame now. He was dropped. He's lame. And King David is the king now. Speaking of the Bible, y'all go and read it. Samuel to 2 Samuel. I think it's chapter 4 and chapter 9. The story of Mephibosheth. So time goes on. Mephibosheth, dad Jonathan and his granddaddy King Saul died. Now David is king. David and Jonathan were close friends, although Jonathan's dad hated David out of jealousy, envy, whatever. Saul was a mess. So King David asked the servant, "Hey, is there anybody left in?" I think it was Lodabar. And the servant was like, "Yeah, Jonathan's son." Remember, Jonathan was David's close friend. He said, "Yeah, Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. He's still in Lodabar." King David told the servant, "Hey, go fetch him and bring him to me." Now, we're going to stop right there. Go fetch him. Now, let's rewind. If we go back to when Mephibosheth was 5 years old, the nurse fetched him and dropped him. Fetch means go get something, pick it up, and bring it. Like your great grandma said, "Hey, go fetch me the sugar," or "Go fetch me that spoon out of the kitchen," or "Go fetch me the bleach for this laundry." She's saying, "Go get it and bring it to me." King David told the servant, "Go fetch Mephibosheth." Because the servant told him, "Yeah, he lame though. He lame in his legs." And David said, "Okay, go fetch him." So Mephibosheth was dropped at 5 years old. The servant goes, and Mephibosheth, now at this moment Mephibosheth could have used the excuse of his trauma and refused to let this servant fetch him. Because again, he was dropped when he was 5 years old from a nurse fetching him and dropping him. So why would I want to go through that again? Now I'm talking about me. Now this is my rendition. This is my rendition of y'all read it for yourself, but this is my translation. Now, and I'm saying, Mephibosheth didn't say that. I'm saying me, like, why would I want to, that's what I used to say, like, why would I want to go through that again? Because you know what? Sometimes God sends your answer through someone that may look like your trauma. Yep, I'm going to say it again because that was super good. Sometimes God will send your answer within someone or something that may look like your trauma. So I had trauma with men. I didn't want a man. I dated women. I didn't want to be around them. Nothing. I blamed all men for what a few men did. When I met my spiritual mother and father, in the beginning, I was a little reserved because the mother and father that I knew hurt me. So I was viewing them in the lens of my biological mother and father. We blame people who truly want to love us for the people that hurt us mistakes. My spiritual father came into my life, and in the beginning, he looked like my biological father emotionally. I didn't want to accept him. Such is God. How many times do you blame God or deflect or predicate the character of God based from a human mistake. One person in the church hurt you, the whole church is no good. One man hurt you, all men are bad. This one woman stole your money and spent all your money, now all women are gold diggers. No, that was just that one person. Even if it was a few people. No, that was just those few people. That wasn't everybody. So what if Mephibosheth was like, nah, cuz, don't pick me up. I've been here before. But he didn't. That servant fetched him, brought him to King David. And you know what King David did? And let me not forget this. Once Mephibosheth was at King David's feet, he bowed and became vulnerable. Despite people hurting him, despite being dropped, he let somebody else pick him up, and he let another person into his heart. He was vulnerable. He opened himself up to King David, not knowing what he was going to get. And you know what King David did? King David gave Mephibosheth all of his father and forefathers. He gave him all that land, and he said, you will forever continually eat at the king's table. Do y'all know what an honor that is? That's like you a regular citizen, and somebody come and knock on your door was like, hey, the president want to see you. And they take you to the president, and the president like, all right, I got all this land for you that your forefathers and ancestors were supposed to have. It's yours now. And I paid for it, and it's yours. And you can have dinner at my table with my family every night or whenever you want to come. Now, what if, I go back to the question, what if Mephibosheth refused to be fetched because he was fetched before and was dropped? He would have missed his moment. He would have missed his moment. So y'all, I just want to, and I feel this so greatly. I know, and I have felt, and I have been there. I know that you've been hurt. I know someone, it hurt when they dropped you. It hurt when they dropping, meaning, or AKA, they abandoned you, or they abused you, or even those who didn't really love you but said they love you and showed their definition of love, although it was not love, it was toxicity. All of that, I've been there. I know it traumatized you. I know it scared you. But I challenge you to reevaluate all of those situations that hurt you and look at the why. Don't focus on the what. We know what it is. We know what happened. You know what happened. You felt it. But you have to understand, and I've said this before, people hurt you because they're hurt. Or people may drop you, not because they didn't love you, but because they were in their own war. They panicked. They didn't have the capacity. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what love was. And I'm not saying this to say that this gives them this. I'm not saying that it was right. It wasn't right. That wasn't your fault. But are we going to continue in this, having this wall up over our heart and saying we're refuting the pain, but also refuting what could be true love? You owe it to yourself. If you get hurt 10 times, but on the 11th time it's true love, I promise you it's worth it. So ask God to help you to guard your heart. Ask God to give you discernment on who to let in and who to love from a distance. Ask God to show you his love so that you're able to love yourself and love others. I challenge you to do that. It's not in your gifts. It's not in your talents. It's not in how well you can speak in tongues and how well you do church and how well you give to the poor and all of these works. Love is the greatest. If you do all of these things and you don't have love, to God, he's hearing clashing and banging, and he's hearing it's not a sweet sound in his ears if you're missing out, if you don't have love among all of these things. Now, there's nothing wrong with these things. Operating your gift, give, do all of these things. Live upright, live holy, but don't forget to love. Love. So are you ready? Are you truly ready to give and receive true love? That's my challenge for you. Look into that. Search your heart. Search yourself. Open yourself up. All right? So I'll see y'all on the next episode. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace.